सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.
You're listening to Bare Knuckle Bhakti Shorties on the Bhakti Recovery Podcast with Jiva G, coming at you every Monday with a little spiritual something. Good morning, friends. Oh my goodness. It is fall. It is autumn and it is awesome. The air smells so good. Fallen leaves in the woods, distant fireplaces, the smell. I really do love the fall. And you know what? It never really was like that. It didn't used to be like that. I used to think the fall means it's going to be the winter, which means I'm going to be cold and I'm going to get depressed. And the reason why I'm saying this now is because that's how I saw life in the past. Everything was a sign of something getting worse. And I'm so happy to not be in that space anymore and so grateful. You know, of course, I'm not perfect. I can always fall into that again, but generally, no. I can appreciate the fall for how it is. I can appreciate things just the way they are. And with being able to do that on the outside, I'm almost able to do that on a daily basis from the inside, looking at myself as being part and parcel of Krishna. This is a very profound experience. The beauty that I find in the moment and accepting that moment for exactly the way it is and being purposely the way that is, purposeful, and me being able to just take that moment without the delusions of paranoia of the future or the worry of maybe the reality of the future. We all know winter's going to come. Or the poison negative thoughts of the past, or the samskaras, or the bad, the bad experiences. And that's the negative side. Let's go to the positive side of that kind of not living in the moment. Fantasizing how great it was back then. Back in the day, it was so much better than now. Or the future is going to be fantastic, but now kind of sucks. This is my limited thinking. It's my limited thinking. The now is the only way that I can get anywhere in the future. And if I'm constantly living in the past and constantly living in the future, whether it's a positive constant or a negative constant, I'm not living right now. And it is so, so, so important. And through time and experience in Krishna consciousness, through time and experience in a 12-step program, we come to learn that this too shall pass, and right now is where we have there's some kind of power, and I don't mean power as far as ego power. I mean I would say there are huge possibilities in the now. Every now makes for a great yesterday tomorrow. Does that make sense? So when I came out this morning for a walk, and I left my house, and I took what I usually do is I come outside and I smell. First, I just take a deep breath in through my nose and smell that crisp air. And I thought, wow, that smells smells so good. It's so clean. And I really appreciated that. And it got me thinking of how it used to be. In reflection of, I remember that I would come out and it was fall and I'd go, oh my God, the summer's over. The summer's over. And then the thoughts would be, it wasn't even a good summer. It rained so much. It did this, it did that. I didn't have a chance to whatever, blah, 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 blah. The head goes, the mind goes. And then it goes to, this means it's just going to get colder and colder and the winter's coming and it's going to be really freezing. Acceptance is the answer to all of my problems today. And acceptance is not given. It's learned. It's learned. And it's so important to know that. We can pray for acceptance, but we're going to have to jump through a bunch of hoops to get there. My perception is tainted with fears of tomorrow and maybe regrets or the things that happened yesterday. And I'm learning through the years that all I do is make my life difficult when I'm living in that, because it's not reality. Tomorrow is not here, and yesterday is gone. Right now is my reality. And the more right now is in a healthy way, an acceptant way, in a vast way, in a part and partial way, the more of those I have, the better yesterday's become and the better tomorrow's become. It's very, very clear to me. You know, I'm working with a lot of people doing step work at the moment. And I'm watching people grow, taking responsibility in their Krishna consciousness. And that is so important. Our spiritual life does not just get gifted to the most of us. And I'm only talking about those who are aware or who have maybe harsher anarthas, karma, addiction problems, adult child of alcoholic problems. All you other people, that's whatever. That's your business. But I can only say those kind of things that I'm talking about, that I've been talking about this whole time, they don't just go away because we chant 16 rounds. And there's a lot of work to do. And whether we do the work, whether we go willingly or not, that's up to us. I'm really grateful watching people grow in a spiritual program. Watching them unfold, have realizations, grow, and then move forward. This is so powerful. And I'm so grateful to be able to see that and to be a part of that. And it all starts with surrendering our will and our lives over to the care of Krishna. That's where it starts. And the only way that we can continue that in a very, very steady way is to keep that, first of all, in the foreground. We keep that in the foreground. If we do not turn our will and our lives over to the care of Krishna, we're going to be run on self-will. And for recovering addicts, alcoholics, adult children, and people with heavier anarthas, That's not a very pleasant way to go. That's why the 12 steps are there. That's why this program works so perfectly with Krishna consciousness. Because in order for us to release those things and become unattached to those things, we need to first know them. You can't just sort of, it would be like impersonalism. Oh, it's just all there in the void, and yeah, there's something there, but I'm just going to chant and I'm just going to do this. I don't know. I haven't seen that work. I haven't seen that work for anybody. I've seen people shove it in a closet, close the door, only to whatever, a year later, 20 years later, come back and bite you in the ass. I'm not willing to do that. I want a life free from the bondage of the false self. I want to be able to live life happy, joyous, and free in Krishna consciousness. That's the life I would love to have. And that's the life I would love others to have. And the only way I can get that life is to do what I'm doing. To do the practices that I do every day. It's like, I think I said this before, I know I've said it before, putting those little, even if it's a penny, I put it in my spiritual bank account. Sometimes I have $100 to put in it. Sometimes I have a penny. There's even days where I have none. Actually, that's not true. There's never a day where I don't have a penny to give. And that's what keeps me on the track of being as close to Krishna as I possibly can. You know, in Christianity they say, try to live like Jesus or be the mirror of Jesus. Something like that. Sorry, I'm not Christian, but I do read the Bible and I do know the basics. And in the image of God, in the image of Jesus, live like in the image of Jesus. And that is an inherent truth that we all carry. It just is. I don't think any kind of endeavor that I have taken in trying to bury my negative thoughts, have only been temporary solutions to a human problem. I need spiritual solutions to a human problem. And I got news for you. Those spiritual solutions don't just happen in the brain. They happen in my hands and my feet. They happen in my daily practices. They happen in offering service to others. It happens when I'm holding on to something and I have the ability to let go of that through God's grace. That's when it happens. It happens when, for me, it doesn't happen when chanting, but for others, it happens when chanting. It happens when I'm praying. It happens when I go to a meeting. It happens when I stop and ask myself, am I being the person I want to be right now in this very situation? Am I reaching for the highest capabilities within the realm of my capabilities without exceeding them and having higher expectations, putting myself in the right size? That's another thing. Putting ourselves in the right size. Being sized right. What does that mean? I'm not bigger and I'm not smaller. I just am. And here are my capabilities, and I work within my capabilities. And hey, 27 years later, my capabilities have grown exponentially. And not because I said I'm not good enough, and not because I said I'm better than. It's because I just did what I could when I could. Very clear. My ceiling is somebody else's floor. Why should I compare myself? I can appreciate this fact and say, yeah, it's okay. This person perhaps doesn't have the karma I have. Not perhaps. Doesn't have the karma I have. Doesn't have the things to grapple with that I have. They have their own things. And perhaps in their past lives, they've come to this earth on a way higher understanding of Krishna reality. And not so bedazzled and tainted by the material energies. And knowing that their floor is my ceiling. I've had to work my entire life to get up to their floor. And they're still walking on it, on my ceiling. And that's okay. I don't want to be like that person. I can't be like that person. Krishna has given me my karma. This is my karma, actually. I have given me my karma. My past lives, this life, I have, whether I know it or not, whether I like it or not, I have my karma. I've done the things that I've done and made the decisions I've done out of ignorance, whatever it is. And that's my situation. And these are the things that I need to get through. Right size. Acceptance. That's humility. Knowing your right size. Knowing your capabilities. Working within them. It's a damn marathon. Sometimes we look at the road ahead and we go, oh my God, no. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this. But time goes on. The God of time, Shiva, will destroy everything. And whether I go willingly or not, I'm going to go. So working within my capabilities is the key. It's the key. And we all want to look good. Everyone wants to look good. We all want to be bigger than we are. Most of us. Or we want to put ourselves smaller than we are, playing the victim. Or the weak one. Taking a break from responsibilities, taking a break from our own expectations. Because that's what it boils down to. It is our own expectations of ourselves. Whether you agree with that or not, I'm going to make it real simple. Our parents, our school, our societies, our institutions, they put expectations on us. And when we're a child, we do not have the power really to decide. But when we're older, we can do the work to decide if those expectations are going to be a part of us or not. Are we going to have those expectations? Learning that the voices from the outside have become our own expectations of ourselves. And then we measure ourselves up to that according to other people's voices. That's not going to help. We need to find our voice within the realms of Krishna, within the realms of God. That's where I measure myself. What did I do today for my spiritual progress? What did I do today for my sobriety? What did I do today for those who still suffer? That's the measuring stick for me. Where am I in my program? What service have I been doing? Have I acted the way I wanted to act before entering a situation? Sometimes very helpful, speaking of other people's expectations. And I'm not saying don't take other people's expectations. I'm saying take the ones that work for you. I'm saying take the ones that feel right to you, because we do learn from other people. So sometimes when I go into a situation and I know it's going to be heated, because I'm a heated person sometimes, I'll say, what would my Guru Dev, if he was standing right next to me, how should I be acting? What do I think would please him? And the reason why I ask that is not to be a people pleaser. It's because the things that he says, mostly, are right for me. How do I know this? Because I've been living a program for the last 27 years. And I take what I need and I leave the rest. And either the rest is my lack of understanding, or the rest is whatever. I don't want to judge it. The rest is just the rest. Man, I just can't say it enough. Right now is your big opportunity. It's my big opportunity. Right now is the opportunity. You want to change your life? I want to change my life, the trajectory of which way it's going. Do one small thing. You have to change your whole life right now. I couldn't do that. When I first got clean and sober, are you kidding me? My standards were so low, but they were huge. Those standards that I had when I got clean and sober was just stay abstinent from drugs and alcohol, go to meetings, and that's it. The rest, drinking coffee, smoking cigarettes, banging down Red Bulls, illicit sex, all fair game, all of it. And I was fine with that. I was fine with that. And then I got a taste for more spiritual things in life and realized slowly that these little things, good morning, and realized that these things were not serving me. And when I realized that these things were not serving me, slowly they became distasteful to me. I think the hardest thing that I ever did in sobriety was quit smoking cigarettes, as far as like addictions go. It was horrible. Smoking cigarettes was it was just as hard as quitting heroin. And it's now 12 years later, and I don't smoke. I don't drink Red Bulls. I don't have illicit sex. Why? Because it doesn't serve me. And it wasn't a struggle. It just happened. Why? Because I just kept moving forward. So not only someone else's floor is my ceiling, at some point my floor was my ceiling and my ceiling was my floor. And now, my ceiling when I was in early recovery is not only my floor, it's the basement. It's the floor of the basement. And I couldn't have done that on my own. Not at all. I do not owe that to myself. I do owe myself some credit, but in the right size. In the right size. When we're the right size, even the world is the right size. You know, I still struggle with the outside world. I still struggle with human behavior. I struggle with it. I struggle with things like disrespect, ignorance. And I can only recognize it because there's some drop of it in me. Because not only am I part and parcel of Krishna, I'm also part and parcel of this world. In a way, for now. Knowing that, I am influenced by this material energy. I'm influenced by Maya. I'm in the age of Kali Yuga. I am in Kali Yuga towards the end, where things are getting really messed up. And the only thing that I can do keep my side of the street clean. That's all I can do. All right, guys, I think it's enough. I'm going to continue my walk and breathe in this wonderful, crispy air. God, I love it. And I wish you guys an amazing week in Krishna consciousness, in recovery, in love. I love you guys. Hare Krishna. Thanks for listening. I hope you liked the Monday Shorties. Don't forget to check out our full-length episodes on Thursdays. If you like what you heard, spread the word. Peace out.
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.